Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Jayo Jagannath Jayo Jagannath Jayo Baladev Jayo Subhadra Jai Kishora Kishori Jai Kishor Kishori Jai Kishor Kishori Jai Shri Radhe Kishor Kishori Jai Kishor Kishori Jaya Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Shila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Gaur Premanande Hari Haribo Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Kishore Kishori Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai Their Divine His Divine Love and Grace Abhaijananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. My humble obeisances to all. Thank you for joining. So we're reading today Srimad Bhagavatam. Continue to read 10th canto, chapter 60, verse number 44. It's not that which is on the board, so it's next one. If you have your smartphones, you can follow. So we'll read Sanskrit translation and prepared by the disciple of His Divine Grace, Abhaijananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Preshav Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Shinvatam Swakatchach Krishnam Punya Shavanam Kirtanam Hridyantosto Badrani Vidhunoti Suhritsatam. Read Sanskrit. Tasya. You have your smartphone. You want to follow? You want to read responsibly? Okay. Forget. Tasya syur achyuta nripa bhavato padishta. Strinam griheshu karagosva vidala bhritya. Yatkarna mulan yan karshana napayayat. Yasmat katha mrida virincha sabhasu gita. Tasya syurachyuta nripa bhavato padishta. Strinam griheshu karagosva vidala britva. Yatkarna mulan yan karshana napayayat. Yasmat katha mrida virincha sabhasugita. Would you like to read Sanskrit, please? Anyone else? Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. O infallible Krishna, let each of these kings you named become the husband of a woman whose ears have never heard your glories, which are sung in the assemblies of Shiva and Brahma. After all, in the households of such women, these kings live like asses, oxen, dogs, cats, and slaves. Purport. According to Srila Siddhartha Swami, these fiery words of Queen Rukmini's are the response to the Lord Krishna's opening statement found in text 10 of the chapter. The Supreme Lord had said, "My dear princess, you have You were sought after by many kings as powerful as the rulers of planets. They were all abundantly endowed with political influence, wealth, beauty, generosity, and physical strength. According to Sridhar Swami, Queen Rukmini here speaks with anger, pointing her index finger at the Lord. She compares the so-called great princess to asses because they carry many material burdens, to oxen because they are always distressed while performing their occupational duties, to dogs because their wives disrespect them, to cats because they are selfish and cruel, and to slaves because they are servile in family affairs. Such kings may appear desirable to a foolish woman who has not heard or understood the glories of Shri Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti adds that such kings are like asses because their wives sometimes kick them, like dogs because they behave inimically toward outsiders in order to protect their homes, and like cats because they eat the remnants left by their wives. Jai. Shilpada ki jai. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gina Gina Chalakaya Chakshurmilitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitamina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganat Hunadham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanam Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Lalitam Shri Vishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Everyone. Hare Rama 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishna Bhuveshmad Bhakti Danta Swami Nityanamina Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Yantak Pravishtam Vanchavam Prasuptam Sanjivayanti Kila Shakti Dharam Sadam Namanyam Shahastam Charanam Shavanam Samarik Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Durgam Patim Daisa Skala Padarmatavum Shikripa Yasti Shikripa Yasti Santa Santa Lambanam Gurave Guru Chandra Shatakatale Krishna Krishna Bhaktya Tad Bhaktyan Mumha Yasya Prasadam Yajna Pisarva Sadhyagi Jnavraji Shishtani Devame Bhagavan Samprasidatav Tisham Sadam Yuktanam Bhajadam Priti Purvakam Dhyam Budhyavam Tamyam Krishna Shakti Vinaki Dara Pravatana Kala Kala Radharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana Adantastri Nandantarane Yashki Punak Punak Shiman Rupam Padam Bhujan Durisya Hare Krishna. So here's Rukmini's response to Krishna for his proposal given in the text number 10 in this chapter, where Krishna said to Rukmini, "My dear princess, you have sought after by many kings as powerful as the rulers of planets. They were all abundantly endowed with political influence, wealth, beauty, generosity, and physical strength." So Krishna proposed Rukmini to get married on some of the kings, such as Shishupala, Dandavakra, Jarasanga, or Rukmi, or whoever. And definitely those kings are very powerful kings, endowed with all good qualities, with political influence and strength and beauty and power, whatever. If they would have voted for presidentship in America, they could have win all those like nowadays presidents like Biden or Trump, whoever. They're very good rulers, and Krishna compares them with the rulers of the planets. They're very powerful. And Rukmini, she kind of cuts through the illusion, and she angrily responds to Krishna, and she kind of takes off the spell of illusion from the minds of those who bewildered by so-called material husbands and wives of this world. Yeah. Yeah, in this world, many people looking for compatible material so-called husband or wife. And they bewildered because what is this material husband who is under the influence of modes of nature, under the influence of his past karma, fruitive activities, and time factor, right? So, material husband cannot give protection, security, or wealth, supply wealth to, or maintain the children, his children, or his wife, if he's under the control of his karma, right? Karmana daiva netrana. So he's under the control of the karma. And also time factor. Kalosmin lokakshaya krit pravritha, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. He is a time factor personified. And as well modes of nature. Sattva, rajas, tamoiti, guna, prakriti, sambhava. In this world, we know this is combination of three modes of nature. So Krishna here, actually Krishna has two main moods in his pastimes. One is called Aishwarya Mai. Aishwarya Mai means great wealth and opulence, worshipping Krishna with awe and reverence, right? Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya shesya shiyaha gyana vairagya cheva shana bhaga iti gana. You know the 6 opulences of Krishna, right? Does anyone remember those? Strength, beauty, fame, knowledge, and renunciation, right? So the 6 beauties, 6 opulences, vibhutis, represent Krishna's Aishwarya Mai, Aishwarya Lila. And as well, the Krishna sometimes perform pastimes in the context of Madhurya Mai. Madhurya means sweetness, attractiveness, beauty of Krishna, right? And it's like human-like pastimes. It's called Nara Lila. And Nara Lila means Krishna sometimes speaking like normal person. He's saying that I am not qualified. I have a lot of faults and defects. Like Rupa Goswami, for example, he found in Krishna 16 faults out of 18 faults of conditioned souls. He mentions that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is a separate topic anyway. So sometimes Krishna can steal things, can hanker for some other wives. He dancing in the dead of night with some other wives, right? He's swearing, he's speaking swearing words sometimes. You know, it's like he kind of exhibit different faults, so-called faults. of mundane, material personalities or conditioned souls. Although we know Krishna is a perfect, he performs his Nara Lila, his human-like pastimes. And in this pastime, Krishna presents himself like an unqualified person. He's saying, those kings like King of Chedi, Shishupal, and Dandavakra, all these kind of demonic, very powerful kings actually. They could have ruled over the planet, not like nowadays so-called leaders, those who dressing like kings, but actually they literally they're mlechas. Mlechha Rajanya Rupana, it is saying in 12th canto. Yeah? They present themselves like kshatriyas, but actually they're not qualified. So in Krishna saying here, but Rukmini, he with angry words defeated him. He said, those kings are like normal conditioned souls, the ordinary conditioned souls. They're under the spell of Maya. They're completely illusioned, and they acting like an asses, oxen, dogs, cats, and all those animals, because they're under the control of their wives, and they depend on the laws of nature, or stringent laws of nature, on their karma, on their fruitive activities, on time factor, and also on what else? Something else. And modes of nature, right? So every one of us, we're under the control of the material nature. Daivihesha gunamaya mama maya duratya. So how they, like these personalities, can be husband or anyone else, executive head or guru, like Rishabhadev Maharaj, he said in the 5th canto, in his teaching, he said, unless person is qualified to deliver his subordinates from the circle of repeated birth and death, he cannot be guru, husband, wife, executive head, or any managerial authority. He cannot be. So all those kings, they're under the control of material nature. They're illusioned, they're conditioned, how they can liberate. And moreover, they're inimical towards Krishna. They have no devotion, right? So they're not devotees. They're inimical. They're demoniac kings. So therefore, Rukmini, she rejected them, expressing her mood, like sometimes Lakshmi Devi saying also in the 5th canto, in 18th chapter, there is a prayers of residents of Jambudvipa. She expressed her mood in the beautiful prayers given in 18th chapter. Lakshmi Devi, she said, therefore, all women who worship you by strictly observing vows, because they wish to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses, are surely under illusion. They do not know that such husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children, nor can he protect their wealth or duration of life. For he himself is dependent on me, on Krishna. So, therefore, only real and absolute husband for all living entities is Krishna himself, right? He is a pati. He is a supreme pati. He is a supreme husband, absolute husband. And mundane relationship between husband and wife are not absolute, right? So this is husband, so-called material husband, who supposed to supply wealth and security to the family, to the children, to the wealth, to the husband and to the wife and children. So he is completely under the control of material nature, under his past activities. In Ishopanishad it is saying, tena tek tena bunjita, right? So everyone has his own share, his own quote, right? Krishna given to everyone because he is Ishvara. Ishavasya Madam Sarvam. This is ultimate absolute law for everyone. So, and we see in the Kali Yuga, normal material husband cannot provide even basic necessities to the family, right? Whoever can do this, he considered to be great soul, Mahatma in this age. Right? So therefore, Rukmini, she rejects such husbands, and Lakshmi Devi, she confirms her mood. This is two great women. They seek for after Krishna. They seek after a real husband who is absolute. Ekali Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Britya. Krishna, he is a supreme. He is a supreme Purusha. But all other husbands, they're prakriti. They belongs to material nature. They're meant for Krishna enjoyment. And Krishna only one Purusha. Right? He is a Purusha, but all other living entities, they consider to be prakriti. What is the verse? Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Dhamam Purusha Shashvata Divyam Adidavam Ajam Vibhu. So Krishna, he is a supreme Purusha. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajaya. Glorify him every time. So, therefore, those who looking for, seek after material husband or wife, they're under the spell of illusion, of Maya. And this is normal tendency of conditioned souls. And in Shastras, it is explained that normally conditioned souls, they're looking for false shelter, false ashraya. And there are 7 different types of false shelter. Would you like to know them? 7 false shelters. First one is called Jiva Ashraya. Jiva means living entity. And conditioned soul prone to seek shelter from conditioned souls, from those who consider to be influential in this world. You know, like famous and rich people, powerful, those who possess wealth or position in this world. We think that they can give to us protection, and we'll look for shelter in such people, right? You know this, yeah? I mean, it's natural tendency. We're looking for big, strong, powerful connection and personalities, those who powerfully situated in this world. Does it help or not? Sometimes, you know, we try, we're asking for help, but they're not willing to help, or they cannot help, actually, right? So this is first ashraya, which is false considered to be. Then another one is called Deva Shraya. Deva means demigods, great entities, those who are under the control of this material nature. Deva Shraya. And people, they inclined to address to the demigods to get shelter, right? Like, for example, sometimes we worship in Navagraha, different demigods, those who are in charge for our karma. We're doing different pujas and rituals and yagyas and chanting mantras. Om Rahaya Svaha, Om Shanaye Svaha. Put some metal ring on a finger, or feed black cow in Saturday is considered to be, you can satisfy the shiny death, you know, and so many different rituals. And again, does it help or not in your life? So anyone has any experience about that? I mean, if we here, we try to worship Krishna, probably you're disappointed at all kind of things. So this is Deva Ashraya. Another one is called Rishi Ashraya. So Rishis are great sages, those who live in a higher planetary systems, and they are considered to be living in a pure sattvic atmosphere. They're very intelligent people, and they provide us with the different scriptures, with Shastra. So they're very, like advanced. And in modern terms, it means we worship or take in shelter of science or technologies, right? So we consider them very advanced. They can do many great things. They can make such wonderful smartphones, big computers with a huge memories, terabytes and gigabytes of memories, right? They promise us to produce artificial intellect or elixir of immortality, or maybe what else? Perpetual engine, or shoot a cosmic spaceship into the cosmos and find some planet which is very nice and we can live there and experience good life. So they promise many different things, and maybe we can also seek in shelter in this kind of people, those who represent science and modern knowledge, I don't know, education or technology. But again, so does it help or not? So we see this is modern science always fail to fulfill their promise, like to find a solution for all material problems, right? So because we're struggling so much nowadays. Anyway, so next one is called Pitri Ashraya. Pitri means ancestors, forefathers, right? So many people worshiping our lineage, our families, our clan, or what else, nation, our motherland, India or America. America is great, so now we came to America to take shelter of America, right? So this is called Pitri Ashraya. So we want to take full shelter. So does it work? I don't know. We'll see. We don't know. We got a visa, American visa. Now we're happy to be in America. So let's see. Does America help us or not? So it's called Pitri Ashraya. Then also some tendency of conditioned soul to find shelter in, it's called Bala. Bala means strength, right? So strength is a very desirable thing. So of course there are many different types of strength, like maybe physical strength or emotional strength or intellectual or institutional power, or maybe yogic power, all these kind of things. So many different powers. We can get shelter one of those, and we think we are protected, we are fine, so we are saved. But in the time of death, any of those strength can give you shelter? No, nothing. It will not work out. Okay, this is Bala. Next one is called Dhana. Dhana means wealth, right? Wealth, money, possession. So we're taking shelter of wealth. Dhana Shraya. Dhana Shraya. It's one of the main illusory forms of Ashraya, because people after money, especially this country, America. So everyone is crazy after money. Everyone wants to earn money, get a lot of wealth, and it's very illusory kind of shelter. It kind of gives you illusory sense of security, right? So we think money is very good, so we have money, so we can be protected. But if disease comes, if collapse comes or crisis, how does this money help you? You see, it doesn't work. It's a false shelter. It is a false sense of security. But still, people, they're crazy. They just earn. They want to earn a lot of money. And they think they will be protected. It's not a fact. Then another one is called Sharira, Ashraya. Sharira means body, material body. And material body, so we very much attached to this material body. We nourish this material body. We take care of it. We caring. We cherish this material body. We go into the, I don't know, gym hall, or we're doing different exercise. We're doing spa, or yoga exercise just to maintain this body. And we think this body will give to us protection. Probably this is most false and illusory kind of thing which we can rely on, right? This material body. Do you have any experience about this body? It's always fails, always. Yes, so this is body. It's not reliable. And in Ayurveda science, there is a first mantra which is given in the treatise of Ayurveda. There is first mantra which saying like it is goes like what is called Mandira Roga Shariram, right? Mandira Roga Shariram. This body is a temple of disease. So it's like a temple. And there are a lot of disease in this body, which can be activated at any time. All diseases are there. It just will be activated in due course of time according to your karma, right? So Mandira Roga Sharira, right? This is temple of disease. So we can rely on it. And that's what one... okay, so Krishna said in 11th canto, in Uddhava Gita, he said, Devarshe bhutapta nrinam pitrinam nakin karyam nayana rinicha rajan sarvatmanam yan sharira sharanam gotoma kunda parivrita kartum. So Krishna said, very beautifully, he said, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Lord's service has no need to serve such persons separately. So if we take shelter of Lord Mukunda, who is the source of all other shelters, right, which we're looking for in this world, Bala Sharira, Bala Sharira, Dhana, Deva, Pitri, Rishi, Jiva Ashraya. So we're looking at those shelters. But actually those shelters are taking strength in the original shelter, original Ashraya, which is Krishna himself. So he is a Mukunda, he is giving shelter to everyone. If we take shelter of him, we're not indebted anymore to any other living entities in this material universe. So taking shelter of Krishna, we will be saved, will be secured and protected. It's like putting water on the root of the tree. By putting water on the root of the tree, all the other branches and twigs and leaves are nourished automatically. So in the same way, if we worship Krishna, everyone will be satisfied, right? Yasmin tushte, jagat tushte. Yeah? By serving Krishna, all entire universe will be satisfied with our service. So this is a solution given in Bhagavatam. So instead of looking for false shelter in this world and so-called husband and wife, we have to find original and absolute husband, which is Krishna himself. Krishna, he is Pati or Upapati. He is a husband of all living entities, right? Ekale Ishvara Krishna Are Sababritya. So he is the supreme and he is the most powerful source of everything. Therefore, Rukmini angrily defeated Krishna. She said, no, these material husbands, so-called husbands, which their bodies consist of stool and worms and mucus and all these kind of things. So they're useless living entities, those who are under the control of material nature, time factor and modes of nature and so on and so forth. So therefore only Krishna can protect living entity, give full shelter. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for tolerating me today. Any comments, questions? Anyone like to ask anything? By the way, I just wish to everyone to get rid of your illusion about false shelter and take real shelter of Krishna. So don't rely on unreliable source like all these kind of shelters. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. I think it was meant for me because I, out of fear, usually take a lot of these false shelters. But then again, like Buddha is considered the last incarnation of God, and he says that you have to work out your own salvation with diligence because it's like God helps those who help themselves. And so the people who are dependent on us, we are also responsible for their salvation, not only ours, but whoever we come in contact with. So if we lose this
I'm sorry,
material,
can you speak a little bit loudly? Otherwise,
so like whoever is dependent on us or who we have known, they are also dependent for their salvation, to lead us, like if we are elder to anybody, then we are supposed to lead them towards salvation, to show them the right path. But if we leave this material body, which is so difficult to get, then we cannot work for our own salvation or lead them to the right path, because many times there are so many factors which are against uh, the life of an individual. Like you said, astrological combinations, but they do happen. They have a lot of power, and then also like diseases or stuff like that. So if we do not protect our this material body which is given by God, then we cannot work towards our salvation, or we cannot show the right path to the people who we care about. If then we will be responsible for not leading them to heaven, because like we will be responsible for their downfall, because uh, if we have a child, or if we have a friend or anybody who's looking up to us to show us the way to like the right path, then we have neglected our duties, and that would also lead to hell. A person who is not able to lead himself to the right path is also responsible, and that person might go to hell. So we are also responsible for our own salvation as much as dependence on God. So we cannot just put it all on God. We have to fight it.
yes. So this is your statement, or
No, that's my doubt. Like what you said is so
that's your
true.
dilemma, kind of, yeah.
Yes, because
Because
because out of fear of losing this chance that one has been given, because it's written in Bhagavad Gita that it's very difficult to get a human body, or it's very difficult to get the association of God, even in the human body. So then
so then you have to take care
so
of your
then
body.
so then we take so then out of fear a person takes all these false shelters. But if we do not take these shelters, then we might just not do our duty of working towards our salvation, or leading the people who are dependent on us towards salvation. That's just a question, like
Are
what do
you
you
able to save your body? Are you able to maintain your body? Or are you able to get salvation by yourself without supreme help, without supreme mercy? Are you able to do this actually?
Buddha
Do you have
said that.
responsibility? Do you have a power? Do you have a qualification to save yourself, to maintain your body, to do what all these things which you mentioned?
Buddha
So,
said that. Buddha said that yes, you can by your own efforts save yourself. He said that.
what do you say?
Lord Buddha, he
Oh,
said that
Lord Buddha.
by your own efforts you can get salvation.
You see, we're not following actually Lord Buddha. We're not following him. Although we respect him because he rejected Vedas. So we're following teaching of Lord Chaitanya and Krishna. Krishna Upadesha, right? So first of all, then you see all those kind of false shelter, which we mentioned above. It, it seems that it's reasonable to take shelter of those, to maintain your body, to get your strength, to accumulate money and resources. But in the time of death, all those kind of things can help you ante kale, when you will be on the time of death. But time of death, we don't know when it's going to happen. When is the death coming? We don't know. So Bhagavatam is meant for those who on the threshold of death. So we, all of us, we are in this position because we don't know when death is coming. So therefore, it is given instruction to all living entities to take shelter of Krishna. Krishna said, give up all your dharmas, sarva dharman parityaja, and take shelter of me. Mam ekam sharanam, only me. Mam ekam, mam ekam, only me. So surrender to me. This is paradharma, this is supreme dharma, and this is supreme shelter. All other shelters, they're taking shelter or taking strength from this supreme shelter, which is Krishna himself. So you can't do anything against this material nature. It's just illusion that we can do something, but we don't have a power, we don't have nothing. We're powerless people. You see, we can't control this material nature. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. That's what Krishna said. So if we intelligent people, we have to surrender to the Supreme Lord. And we do our efforts, we do our, from our side, we have to do from our side something to get this mercy. We can be saved only by the Krishna's mercy. But to get this mercy, we have to do something. Right? We have to chant Hare Krishna. We have to maintain our body as well in order to get shelter of Krishna. Only for that. You understand? Yeah. I mean, it's a big topic to explain. So many things can be said. Anyway. But you have to understand what is the priority. You please prioritize Krishna, not other things. So other things also, they're essential, but they're secondary. So Krishna is the first. So you have to prioritize your spiritual duties and spiritual service practice to Krishna, and then all other secondary things like your body, family, worldly duties, work, and whatever, right? Like somebody said, you know, when you put things in your suitcase, you put in big rocks and small rocks, small pebbles. So what is your priorities? You prioritize in Krishna or you prioritize in worldly things? So if you put small pebbles, then you don't have a space to put big rocks inside, right? Like what is considered to be for you big rocks? Big rocks is your practice, spiritual practice, Krishna, association with the devotees, right? Worshipping deities, reading Bhagavatam. This is your big rocks. If you make right prioritization in your life, then you fit everything in your day. First of all, you worship Krishna, then all other things. Don't try to catch everything at the same time. Right? Anyone else? Everyone has to say something. Well, Prabhu want to say.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Prabhu, you read from some quotes you give.
Somewhat?
Yeah, some quotes you read about the false taking shelter of demigods.
Oh,
And this
different
very-
shelters, yeah.
From where you read that particular?
This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, actually.
Which words like?
Yeah, I'll give you exact reference. Srimad Bhagavatam 11 Canto, 5th chapter, 41, verse 41.
11th, 5th, 41.
Yeah.
And like here Rukmini is saying that the husband and she didn't choose because they were not attracted to hearing about Krishna.
Beg your pardon, what is it?
She's comparing them to lower animals because they were not qualified, they were not
Yeah.
attracted to hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna.
Yes, yes.
So she gives many examples of lower animals, like such a husband is like that.
Yeah. So Krishna like a teasing her.
Yeah.
And he brought up example of great personalities, actually. Those kings, they were very great, not like ordinary nowadays present leaders like Biden or Trump. They were great personalities. Shishupala, Dantavakra, they were great kings. They could have get over the whole planet. And still Rukmini said, they're not qualified, they're just made of stool and worms, and they are conditioned because they depend on their wives, right? They're also conditioned souls, they're under the illusion. So she doesn't want to have a deal with them, although they're very great. What to speak about normal people, those who, seek after so-called this husband and wives in this material world. If they're powerless, they're useless people, they have to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. That's the conclusion of Rukmini Devi and Lakshmi Devi. Great personalities, right? They're taking shelter of Krishna. Although they could have give shelter to anyone, Lakshmi, right? She's a goddess of fortune and prosperity and wealth. And all the great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they seek after her shelter, right? But she taken shelter of Krishna.
So my question, so they were great personalities compared we as conditioned souls. So there are many, we have to completely surrender to Krishna. We are conditioned, we have defects. Unless one is in a pure stage, he cannot understand the science of Krishna consciousness, to understand Bhagavatam also. So in all, even the conditioned soul is struggling with his senses, mind, and he has 4 defects, he's sure to commit mistakes. So in all these circumstances, one has to surrender, come to the stage of surrender, fully surrender. Then he can come to the pure stage. Then he can understand the science of Krishna consciousness. So what's your recommendation to us, like during practicing Krishna consciousness? Hare Krishna.
To practice Krishna
To
consciousness.
become to that stage a purified, very it says chanting Hare Krishna, association, devotees, eating prasadam, surrender, but it's a gradual process. So can you give some tips, because you have experienced Krishna consciousness? As conditioned souls, we are struggling, we are trapped. I'm saying of myself, so I'm saying this. Hare Krishna.
So what is your question? Guidance?
Yes, yes. Like to understand Krishna consciousness, to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, one has to come to the pure stage. One has to surrender
Pure
fully
stage.
himself. So,
I mean, you see, we have solution. We already have solution for all material problems, spiritual solution for all our material problems. So Prabhupada given to us all things. So we can resolve all the problems of the world. We can sort out all crises of this world because we have a Bhagavatam. So in Bhagavatam, everything given. So Rupa Goswami explains 64 items of devotional service, right? So we can be engaged in those. And out of 64, there are 9 main, Nava Bhakti, Nava Vidhi Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtana, Vishnu, Smaranam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Out of those 5, out of of those nine, the five. Panchanga Bhakti. Panchanga. So Panchanga we're doing every day, actually. So Prabhupada created our program in such a way that we have in this five at morning, at evening, twice a day. So this Bhagavad Shravanam, reading Bhagavatam, Harinam Sankirtan, chanting holy name, associating with the sadhus, living in temple or visiting temple, and worshiping deity. Shimurtaya Shadhaya Sevana, with the faith, right? This five, morning program, evening program. It's like a ISKCON sandwich in between service, right? So we have this, Prabhupada created for this thing. So this is complete. I mean, it's full shelter and it's full perfect solution for all our material problems. If we fully engage in those, so we can resolve all problems because only bhakti can sort out your problems. Not karma, not jnana, not yoga, not anything else. Not psychology, not modern psychology, not anything, not money, not any other false shelters. Only bhakti. When you surrender to Krishna, when you create your devotion, so all obstacles will be removed. Inner obstacles, external obstacles, our problems of the mind or psychology, everything will be removed. Anarthas, it's called anarthas, undesirable things. Only through the bhakti, through the devotional service. Nothing else. You see, it is saying in Padma Purana, all types of karma will be removed. Aprarabdha palam papa, kutam bijan palum mukha, kraminaeva pralete, Vishnu bhakti ratatmana. So there are five types of karma. Aprarabdha, unmanifested. Kutam, it's like a seed. Bijam, it's like a sprout, like a small sprout of sprout, a little bit. Then aprarabdha, prarabdha means manifested karma, and palanmukha means which is already at the front of your face. You're facing this karma. Everything will be removed. Vishnu Bhakti, Kraminaeva Pralete. Pralete means pralaya, finish, no more karma. Vishnu Bhakti, Ratatmana. Ratatmana means with rati, means mature bhakti to Vishnu or Krishna. So all types of karma, everything. So bhakti is powerful. Bhakti is so powerful that even if it's this is bhakti is more powerful than Krishna himself, because Krishna submit to your bhakti if you do, but it's not easy, of course. And this is a gradual process called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana, right? Sadhana we do in practice. But sadhana bhakti also nitya, it is eternal. You never lose your credits which you earn by performing sadhana bhakti. It's always with you. Even sadhana bhakti, if it's not mature bhakti, still it's also powerful. So you're in the right way, you're in the right place, among the right people, in the right time. You have to do right spirit, right mood, and then everything will happen. I don't know. Is it okay? Hare Krishna. Anyone else, Prabhus? Everyone has to say something. Oh, much.
I have no knowledge. This is our first time coming here, so if I make any mistake, just forgive me. um, I just have a comment. I don't have a question. Like I kind of agree with whatever you are reading and whatever you're explaining. But in a modern world, it's also very important to realize that there is a good. We need to come up with a balance.
Yes.
Because we are common humans. If we were not common, we would not be here. First of all, we would have been in a different world, in a different zone. Everything will be different. But we are common. We are coming here to understand how to establish a good balance between your personal life and your spiritual life. I
Yeah.
think that's what at least I'm here for, and that's what I'm looking for. Because I
Yeah.
know if I have to survive in this world, I cannot just give up what I have and just
Yeah.
live the way it's dedicated. So, like to your point, it has to come from you, within you, what you are looking for, not what you're hearing from other. It's just a way of getting the knowledge from one person to another, but how do you process that knowledge depends on each and every individual. So for to survive, for example, It's kind of like uh, we want to be with God, but in order to be with God, we need to have a healthy body. If I cannot have a body, I'd say, oh, body is not important because I'm going to have God. Then there's a relationship. Everything is connected to one another. The connection needs to be figured out and balanced. That's just my comment. There's no questions from my side.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, it's always dilemma to find perfect balance. And you see, bhakti does not depend on anything. Like you said, to surrender to God, I need healthy body and so on and so on. Bhakti doesn't depend on these things. You can create your bhakti at any situation, and you can get full shelter of the Lord. Of course, we live in this world, we have families, we have our desires and attachments. So we have to invest our time and energy to fulfill them. Although maybe they're useless, you will realize it after a while, but still now we're attached. So therefore, we make a balance. You see, it is explained that this creation consists of two parts, spiritual and material. One is spiritual, is tripada vibhuti, means three-fourths of creation. Three-fourths share of creation, spiritual. One-fourth, ekopada, is material. In the same way, our acharyas recommend us to prioritize our life. Three-fourths in spiritual, one-fourth in material. It means eating, sleeping, mating, defending, one-fourth, and Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, three-fourths of your day. So it's like if you divide on a 4, it's become 6, right? 24 hours divided on a 4, it becomes 6 hours. So 6 hours for worldly duties and 18 hours for spiritual duties. This is perfect balance, but of course we can't do this even. For example, Radhanath Das Goswami, all Goswamis Vrindavan, they did one muhurta, 90 minutes for eating, sleeping, taking bath, 19 minutes a day, 1.5 hours, and 22.5 hours they did spiritual duties, chanting, bowing down before the deities, doing parikrams and Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan. Of course, we can do this. So our acharyas recommend 3, 4, 1, 4, and still it's too much. You see, 6 hours for sleeping, eating. What about work and family life, right? So we have to see, we have to figure out by ourselves because it's individual approach. It depends on our faith and our level or ability to surrender to Krishna. If we can overcome our bodily urges, so it's always fight, it's always struggle. That's why we start with a minimum, like 2 hours a day, chanting Hare Krishna, 16 hours, 2 hours a day, dedicate to Krishna first. And then gradually increase. Because you're not this body, you're temporary in this body, you're temporary in this situation, you're eternal soul, you're servant of Krishna. You have to go to this direction, not to, to prioritize your material life. This is temporary, this is illusion. It's gonna collapse sooner or later. Even sooner than we even think. You see, it's not reliable. So you take shelter of spiritual dimension. You try to step in that direction. And it is saying that 3 levels of devotees. One is called Kanishka, beginner, then intermediate and advanced. Kanishka is this, he stands on the 2 legs in the material land. But he looks towards spiritual. But he stands on 2 legs on material ground. Madhyama, he's more advanced. He stands 1 leg in spiritual and 1 leg in material land. And of course, advanced devotee, Uttama, Adhikari, he's both legs in the spiritual world. But maybe he's still here, but he's both legs, he's completely there, out of this world, right? So we have to make our path to that direction anyway, because this world is unreliable. Anything can happen at any time with your body, with your family, with your job, with your country. I came from Ukraine. You see now this war is going on there. Everything collapsed. Devotees are suffering there. So this world is unreliable. Give mic.
Yeah, so the phases you explain, like you start with like a lower level, medium level, and a high level, and that's exactly matches with what our life is, right? If an average age of a person is, let's say, 80 years, so first 20 years they don't even know what a God is. Like it takes them a while. From like 35 to
Yeah.
45, they understand what God is, and by the time they reach to 65, 70, they know exactly what they want because their all responsibilities are. That's why you see that give up comes after that particular number. Like it just takes a normal human to understand where they want to be almost 65 years of their life.
Yeah.
And that's why more dedication, we give up the things, okay, family is okay, because we have all done that job. Like we have finished with our primary responsibility of taking care of a kid, taking care of our parents and so on, and now you can dedicate, and that's where that full devotion comes at that point. I personally feel so. That's just my opinion. Thanks.
Yeah, that's also what Muhammad Ali. You know Muhammad Ali? He's a great boxer. He also expressed his concern about that. He also explained that our life is like how many years we live in, like 60, 70 max, right? Maybe somebody maybe a little more, but not so much. And out of the 60 years, we sleep in 20 years, right? We work in 30 years. We go into our work and back 2 or 3 years. I mean, totally, if you summarize everything. We watch in TV how many years, or internet, right? So maybe 9 or 10 years. Maybe now is even more because internet just like overcome everything like this. And all the things like rumors and news and things. So how much life still remain for our spiritual life? 2 years, maybe, out of 60. Can you imagine? And these 2 years, even we're not really serious, we're not really strict. We not stick to we just come in and we're sleeping during japa, we checking our chats on the WhatsApp while we're chanting, So this is very flickering life. We have to dedicate to Krishna as much as we can, as much as we can. Therefore, we have to come and get right association. We have to regularly do this, and we have to push ourselves because this is practice. We have to do endeavors because material nature is very strong. It's very strong. I was thinking about this morning. So much struggle with this material nature, with this body, with this mind, to chant, to think about Krishna. Even to think of Krishna, it's very difficult. Right? Are you agree? Only me, only myself, I feel like that. Or you feel also like that? Yeah, so many struggle. So therefore, we have to take shelter of right association. We have to be inspired. We have to be determined, and to dedicate our life to the higher cause, higher purpose, not just to spend our life wasting for insignificant things, for shopping or for picnics or to go into casino or some. You see, this is, anyways. So it depends on our sincerity, right? But anyway, so Krishna, if we sincere and serious, Krishna will help us, and Krishna willing to help to people, those who maybe they're trapped in some kind of material situation, family life, and but Krishna willing to help. Krishna can do this like this. He can, like that, he can resolve all our problems. So anyway, we have to try and, like it is saying that we have to do our best and Krishna does the rest, right? Okay. Any other comments, Prabhu? You want to say something? That's fine. Please forgive me for my offense if I say something wrong. Hare Krishna. Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, ISKCON Chicago Yatra ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shishi Kishore Kishori ki jai. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can you take care of broadcasting?